Okay, you're here. Main thing is you're here. So take your time getting down. We will, well, for us, this lesson that we're going to explore today is called Preparation for a Clock. But for us, it'll just be another variation or several variations on the pelvic clock, which I know all of us have done many times in the past. So, are you ready to rock around your pelvic clock? Please place your feet standing on the floor. Both your feet standing on the floor, a comfortable distance apart. And now using a very light movement without lifting the pelvis, just turn the pelvis towards your face so that what you might imagine is the tip of your tailbone comes more away from the floor and curls in the direction of your face. It's a small movement. And use your abdominals to do this. Sometimes we use our legs and our feet. But today, use your abdominals to pull the muscles so the pelvis is rocked and the lumbar spine leans more against the floor. And do that many times quietly. Pelvis is resting on the floor. The belly muscles are pulling it. And notice that, excuse me, when you lift your tailbone, what happens, if anything, with your head? So the pelvis is moving and it pushes your head through your whole spine. The pelvis pushes through your whole spine, and the chin can go away from the throat if you're not holding on to something in the neck. So just observe that. Yeah, oh, that came through very clearly. Maybe that idea or sensation or picture of the spine being pushed through the whole body to the head. And you can notice that your head is making the same movement as your pelvis. So the pressure goes from the base of the pelvis more towards the top of the pelvis, and the pressure on your skull goes from closer to the neck to more in the direction of the top of the head. How do you breathe? Do you breathe in or out, or did you forget to breathe because you were listening so closely? Pause with that and just let your bones rest. Now, can you begin making the opposite movement by lifting your lower back? Yes, if you lengthen down your legs, stand feet again, comfortable distance apart, and begin lifting your lower back, from the floor until you might feel the tailbone. You might feel the tailbone. You don't have to lean on it, especially if you fell on it in the 5th grade and it has hurt ever since. But you're going in that direction. You're lifting your lower back. So you're using now the opposing muscles, the back muscles. And you might imagine you could slip your hand, your right hand, your left hand underneath that area of your waist. Don't have to do that. But you can check. Sometimes having a clear intention to do an action makes the movement very clear. When we don't have the clear intention, then the movement can be muddy-fuddy. And notice also that the pressure on your head where does the pressure on your head move when you arch your back? Can you feel the spine pulling, the back muscles pulling, and the head being pulled, and the chin coming closer to the throat, to the chest? Pause. And now let's orient ourselves with the numbers of the clock. So if you are lifting your waist and going towards the tailbone, we'll call that 6 o'clock. And if you go the other way and pull the abdominals and rock the pelvis towards the top of the pelvis and the waist, we'll call that 12 o'clock. So now familiarize yourself with the movement and the numbers. So we have an internal sensation, and we have the feeling of the head and the pelvis rolling on the floor, rocking on the floor together. And we also have added an external visual element by this imaginary clock that your pelvis is lying on. Now, the size of the clock is up to you. It could be just the size of your pelvis. It could be an enormous clock that your whole body is resting on. And that's an interesting experiment. How do you think when you think small? And how do you move? How do you move when you think smaller? And how do you move when you think larger? When you enlarge the clock, does that make anything clearer? Just an idea. I don't know how it is for you. Okay, let's take a rest. You can let your legs go down if you like. Feel if your contact against the floor has changed. And bring your feet to standing on the floor again. And just review a few movements between 6 and 12, right up is it the middle for you? I think it's the middle of your pelvis, seam of your pants, the fissure between the buttocks. I'll give you a sort of the beginning of a line. Is your head translating the movement of your pelvis exactly? Drawing its own line between 12 and 6 on the floor. Okay, pause. And now just lift the left side of your pelvis. Lift the left side of your pelvis so that you go towards 3. Where would the left side of your pelvis? 9. You'll go to 9. Yes, thank you. You'll go to 9. Lift the left side of your pelvis. So there's pressure at 9 o'clock, and do that a few times. Just over there. Lift the left side until you feel pressure on 9. Comfortably, of course. And then go the other direction. So lift the right side, and the pelvis rolls to put pressure on 3. Is 3 as easy and clear as 9 or less so? And how do you make this movement of the pelvis? How do you get in there. I see different versions. So notice, do you lean the knees to get the pelvis over there? Or do you lengthen one knee away from you, like a piston? And maybe that foot grounds itself a little better into the floor. Or maybe you do a combination of both. A little bit of leaning, a little bit of lengthening of one thigh. Now let's come to the middle and take a rest. Okay, bring your feet again to standing. And again, begin rocking your pelvis between 9 and 3, 3 and 9, right and left. And now let your knees move alternately forward and backward, which turns or rocks your pelvis, excuse me, right and left. They will alternate. They will alternate. One will go forward, then the other will go forward. And pay attention, is your head trying to do the same? Is the head trying to do the same as the pelvis? But in a smaller way, perhaps. So for some people, the head will go right when the pelvis goes right, or it might go in opposition. This depends on what's going on in your spine. So what's going on for you spontaneously without really directing it? Now, if your breathing is comfortable and you're not straining in your chest or your upper back, the movement of your pelvis will turn your head as it rocks right and left. And now, if you're going in opposition to your pelvis with your head, could you go with the pelvis? And if you were going with the pelvis, see what it might be like for the head to go in opposition, but only if that's comfortable. How are the two different in between? What's different in between the skull and the back of the pelvis, the spine, the shoulders, the chest, the breathing? Okay, come to the middle and lengthen down your legs and rest. Right, bring both your feet standing again. And now make a full circle. So start at 12. Let's start at 12 by lifting the coccyx, lifting your tailbone, but not the pelvis. Just pull the abdominals. Remember, use the abdominals. And then go to the left. Let's go to the left all together until you press on 1. And then 2. And then 3, which is familiar. And then slowly lower the pressure until you press on 4 and 5 and 6. And now you're in the middle. So now continue moving to your right and press on the hour 7 and 8 and 9. And keep going until you complete your hour by pressing on 10, 11, and return to 12. And continue like this. So your pelvis is rolling like a bowl. And pay attention that you go through the hours clearly. And listen to how you contract the muscles in both your abdomen and your back. It's very interesting. The pelvis is not lifting from the floor. Everything's lying on the floor, and you're rolling your pelvis. And the brunt of this pressure moves from point to point. And there's no need to work hard. And is your head making the same movement? We're going around the clock clockwise. Can your head make exactly the same movement? Pay attention, you're not skipping in between the little hash marks between the hours. Make sure you can imagine touching the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5 and the 6 and the 7. This is an interesting lesson because of the internal, we're sensing ourselves, and this external relationship we have to the floor in a very specific way. So don't skip anything. And now change the direction of your clock and begin going counterclockwise. Remember, the knees are not leaning. One goes forward, the other feels might come a little closer to you. And pay attention that in this opposite direction, you go through all the digits and your head. Allow your head to do the same thing. And it's interesting, if you were spontaneously turning your head in opposition, what is different in the chest, in the upper back, when you tell your head that it's going to do the same thing as your pelvis? And you can listen to the nose, that it's drawing a small circle in space, reflecting the circle that your head is making on the floor. So let your nose draw a small circle together with your pelvis, drawing the large circle. And your legs are standing comfortably and without force. Check yourself. Are you standing with weight in the feet, letting gravity just pull through your bones? And leave it alone next time you're at 12. And lengthen down your legs. And take a rest. And sense yourself on the floor. Okay, we're going to go back to just 6 and 12, but we're going to do it in the sitting position. In the sitting position, with the soles of the feet together, leaning back on the hands comfortably. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. And now begin the movement by pulling the abdomen in. Pulling the abdomen in, so you rock backwards towards your buttocks, over your buttocks, and then push the lower abdomen out. You're leaning back on your hands behind you. Yes, there we go. And you're pulling in the abdomen, and then you're pushing it out slowly, 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 between 12, which is now more towards the top of the buttocks, and 6, which is in the direction of your pubic bone. You're maybe rolling yourself forwards over your sits bones. And listen to the two sides. Listen to the two sides. And I see people with different orientations of their fingers. Let your fingers point backwards so that the elbows can be straight, or maybe the fingers a bit sideways. And this will be quite different with straight arms. And then, yes, oh, how different is that? Pulling in the pelvic, pulling in the abdominals and rocking over the buttocks, forward and backward, pushing your abdomen forward. The pressure moves forward on the floor on your buttocks and then pulling the abdomen in. So the pressure moves a little backwards. It doesn't have to be big or powerful. Make it simpler, make it lighter. Wow, you guys are awesome. For some of you, this movement is talking to your head. Now, your pelvis can make quite a substantial movement without force, without a lot of effort. You can use your abdominals and your back. Let's rest off our hands. And Carol gets her close up. Okay. What's fitting on the ground differently? Come again to the same position with your hands behind you and the soles of your feet together, one against the other. Maybe this is a little more comfortable. And begin to, guess what? Go between 3 and 9. Let the pelvis rock between 3 and 9, which means your right knee will come a little closer to the floor, and your left knee will rock a little closer to the floor. And one side of your pelvis does what? One side of your back works more powerfully. One side of your back, and the other side has to sort of let out. You have to let out the waist. And one side of your ribs will come further away from that straight elbow, and then the other side will be coming closer. And what does your chest do? Does your chest move? Are you suddenly a bathing beauty? Where do you can look, see what the head is, what your head is inclined to do, although it's not, maybe it's inclining a little bit. But you can also keep the head forward. In this sort of rocking, almost walking movement, you can look forward and feel. Make each side as comfortable as the other, which might mean making the other side not so large. The side that's compromised, make it not so large. And Rich has a good idea. Let's all rest. And now, how are you fitting on the floor? I can see it. I can see it, but what does it feel like? Now we can already get a plan together for what we're going to do next. We will be in the same position and we'll be making a full circle. And we'll start by pushing the abdomen forward. And then, so when you're ready, you have that picture, you can go ahead and it doesn't matter which direction you go, but see if you can do this using just your abdominals and your back. Rolling around. I hope you didn't have a really big breakfast. But sometimes that helps. Sometimes that big breakfast helps you feel that you can push your stomach forward and roll around your clock. Roll around your buttocks. It is such a nice feeling to roll around your buttocks. They're round, they're there. Sometimes we give them a hard time. We don't like our buttocks, but they're really very nice cushions to roll around. Roll around your buttocks and observe what you do with your abdomen and what you don't do with your abdomen. And when you push it forward and when you pull it in and your buttocks are back there and you're rolling around them. And then you can go the other way. You're leaning back on your your hands. Hands are behind you. The elbows are straight. And you're rolling around your buttocks. And your spine, your whole spine is involved, isn't it? What's going on with the shoulder blades and the chest and the head? Some of you are hearing it in the head and the neck. Your head making the same circle as the pelvis? Could it? Could the top of the head make a circle as the bottom of the bottom makes a circle? Rest down. Rest down. We didn't do both sides, did we? Did we? Maybe you did. Did we? Did we go both directions?
Yes. Yeah.
We did. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, in that case, let's lean on our forearms and our elbows. Let's lean on our forearms and our elbows. And that's an interesting constraint. And place the soles of your feet together again with your knees apart, or some semblance of that position. And start with 12. Yes, good, Sheila. Push the belly forward. Just 12 and 6. Reorient yourself. 12 and 6. Push the belly out. Pull the belly in. Feel the body rocking. What is this demanding of your spine, your chest, your shoulders, your breathing? What's happening? Yes, good and very good. If you can only do a couple and then rest down, do that. And then come back to it and see if you can make it simpler and more comfortable. Yes, and yeah, do you make an excursion with the spine along the floor, and not along the floor, but through space, forward and back? It really depends. Yes, nice. Just forward and back. Okay, good enough. Rest down if you're not already resting and feel what part of your back is flatter or more sunk into the floor. What does that do to your breathing? Is the breath free to make a different excursion through you? When you feel ready and rested, come again onto your forearms. Put the soles of your feet together and the knees apart. And lean back. And now start at 12 on your, let's see, we're on our elbows. Yes. Start pushing the abdomen forward. And then from there, start rolling your bowl around the floor in a circle. The knees tilting appropriately, keeping it comfortable, making it smaller. If that's what makes it comfortable, maybe you make a very small circle. Are you still thinking of the numbers? Are you thinking of your buttocks? What are you thinking of? Listen to how you lean on the elbows. Listen to what happens in between there, those shoulders, the chest, the shoulder blades in the back. And this can be a very challenging position to hold for a long time. So rest as you need to, or if you don't need to, you can go the other direction. Rest and then go the other direction. Now let your belly be free to express itself. What's going on internally? Internally. What the Tai Chi masters know a lot about. How to move the dantian from the inside. Let's take a rest. And that's why all the Tai Chi masters have such big bellies. They cultivate it, unlike us Westerners. Can you bring the soles of your feet together while you're on your back? And just begin to make a few circles with your pelvis in one direction, and then a few circles in the other direction. Your comfortable circle. What about the head? What about the head? What do you do with your back? Your back muscles, your abdominals. Your pelvis feeling a little more secure. Are you touching in a clearer way all those numbers? On both directions, and you're satisfied? Satisfied but not tired. If you're tired, then you stop. Then rest. It can be very liberating to let your stomach push this way and that. That's nice. Okay. The rest, unless you're still working. Unless you're still working. And now think of this before you do it. So for the next variation, we will have our legs long and our hands and arms lying on either side of the body. And think how you would begin to make circles with your pelvis on the floor like this. How would you do it? Peter already has an idea. I can see us. The feet start to move, don't they? So start to make some circles with your pelvis and your legs extended. And help yourself with your heels on the floor so your feet will also be making a circle through space. Are your feet going clockwise? Almost like your forefoot could be making the dial of the clock, of its own little clock, go around and around. This is called dialing in. So dial into your pelvis with your feet. Use your heels to help. How far apart, how close together do you need your feet to be? If the knees stay locked, it probably won't work. You won't be able to transmit the forces through the spine. Allow your head to move and pay attention to the hours that feel difficult in this position. Which ones are sort of vague now? There are certain hours that might feel vague and you're not really touching them clearly. So stand your feet and continue making a circle with your pelvis and see how much clarity you have now. Go the same direction you were just going with your legs long. You're just continuing now with the legs and feet standing. And the legs stay parallel, more or less, and the leg and the knee goes forward, and the other knee goes forward, and the other knee goes forward. And pay attention to the hours that got clearer. What about the head? Yes, nice, very good. Now, let's take a rest. And with your legs long, make a circle with your pelvis on the floor in the other direction. So you already know how to do it. Just go the opposite direction. And again, notice which numbers sort of disappeared from your back's contact because we've extended the legs. Doesn't mean you should try to touch them. This means notice. We're still making things simple and easy. Remember, that's our theme, our eternal theme. No more trauma. Simplicity, ease, and grace. And then stand your feet, unless you're resting and falling asleep. Stand your feet and continue the circle in the same direction. And feel now which numbers you can touch with clarity and confidence. Go over your whole clock. Allow your head to move. Continue making the circle, but extend your legs again and notice which numbers disappeared. This is part of our experiment. Just you keep going and which numbers just disappeared. Pay attention to all the hours and feel which ones are easy and which ones are not easy, which ones are clear. Often both sides are not the same. Okay, leave it and rest. And stand your feet again. And cross your right thigh over your left. Oh, yes. Thigh, yes, thigh, not ankle. And we are going to do a pelvic circle in this strange position. Go ahead and start your circle, whichever direction, doesn't matter. Now, it may be really eensy teensy. It may be that only one side makes a clear circle and the other sort of doesn't, but you feel, you do you. You sort of tied up the hip joints here. If the head goes along with the circle, does it help? A few circles in the opposite direction. Very nice, team. Uncross your leg, take a rest. Come to sit and stand both your feet on the floor. Lean back on your hands and cross your right thigh over your left again. And like this. So your left foot is standing on the floor, your right thigh is crossed. Unless for any reason that is not an agreeable situation for you, you know to not do it, and make a circle. Make a circle. Make a few circles in one direction. Now you can maybe think of your buttocks again, or your sits bones, or a combination of the two, or your sacrum, or whatever part of the back you're circling around. Interesting constraint. Make a few circles in the opposite direction. Sure you can breathe. Make sure you're not straining. Just paying attention. That's the magic bullet. Everybody wants a magic bullet, and it's so simple. Just pay attention. Let's rest. Stand your feet again and cross your left thigh over your right. Maybe this side is more comfortable. Maybe it's less. So you treat yourself accordingly and begin making a few circles simply, easily, comfortably, wisely. You use your wisdom. Hurt yourself, but of course the wisdom is acquired by having hurt yourself so many times. No need, no need. Make a few circles in the opposite direction. Rest. Phyllis went into a trance. She's still doing it. She sits in a trance. Okay, so we'll rest a little bit. Yeah, you can go forever. You can do a movement forever when you organize it well. So now try it in sitting. That same thing in sitting, leaning back as far as you need to on your hands and standing your feet and crossing your left thigh over. So it'll be hanging. It's very interesting, and make comfortable, wise circles. Enjoy it. If we're not enjoying ourselves, what's the point? Reverse the direction. That is looking very delicious. So let's uncross the leg and rest. Couple more variations. Stand only your left foot, your left leg. And helping with the heel of the leg that's long, make some circles like this in this asymmetrical situation. Is it a circle? Is it a half circle? Did you have to move your clock over and shrink it? What did you do? Which part of your pelvis has contact and which parts don't make contact as clearly? Reverse and allow your head to move freely. Looks like everybody has that. And change legs. Change legs, just extend the left leg down and stand the right foot up. Continue. Did you continue in the same direction you were just going? Just sort of keep going with that flow. A few circles, and then you can change direction. See if you can change direction without stopping the flow. It's like, how do you get the water swirling in the other direction? Press the leg down. Come back onto your elbows and stand your feet and make a few circles. Few circles in one direction, few circles in the other direction. Have your feet spread so that the pelvis can move. It'll free the hip joints. It'll free the hip joints. Listen to the knees. One going forward, one going back. If you have to make the circle around just your sacrum so the knees aren't wobbling, maybe hone in on that. Remember, the hip joints are very close in deep in the pelvis, or closer to the pubic bone than you might imagine, but I'm sure you're feeling that. If you've gone both directions, rest down. Come one more time onto your elbows. Sorry. Come one more time onto your elbows and stand your feet and cross your right thigh over your left. And begin to make circles. Make a few circles in one direction and a few circles in the other, but allow your head to move. Let your head move. Which side touches less well? Which side has less contact with the floor? You've gone a few this way and a few that way. Take a short rest. Maybe we should call this lesson clarifying the hip joints. And after you've rested in your own timing, go back on your elbows and cross your other leg. That would be your left leg over your right. And make a few comfortable, easy, wise circles. Can the head be involved? Is it helpful for the head to be involved? So why do we lean back on the elbows? It has something to do with the chest, doesn't it? Very nice. See some nice buttock rolling. Rest down, rest down, rest down. And return one last time to having your feet simply standing on the floor. And now we're in the middle. Now we're in the middle. The pelvis is resting on the floor. How does it rest now? Just let it rest. And with it, your chest. Is your chest resting better? And then just begin to make some circles around your clock again. You can start by pushing the belly forward and going around, using the abdominals and the back. It's the movement more continuous, smoother. Is there more participation possible from your head because the chest got better organized? And you can, without losing that flow, can you reverse the circle? Reverse the circle. Get the fluids all moving the other direction. Is it more fluid? Think of your fluids. Your liver, your stomach, your heart, all moving around inside. The lungs. And leave it alone. And you can lengthen down your legs. And pay attention to how your pelvis is flattened on the floor. And the feelings you have in your chest and your back. And maybe you even feel a residual of that fluid movement inside. Like if you've been on a boat for a while, you still feel the water after you've gotten off. So sense the quietness, sense the peace. And I think I'll leave you. Feels like you're very comfortably flattened. But when you do get up and begin moving around, just remember to sense, I know you do. You walk around the sensations in your back and your chest and your legs, your balance, the whole shebang. And I wish you all an excellent weekend and week ahead. And I'll see you all when I see you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Alice.
Love you guys.
Thank you. Love you.